If COVID has taught us anything, it's figuring out what really matters in our lives. It's made us reevaluate our priorities and focus on what we really need to survive and to thrive. Yes, toilet paper is definitely one of those things. But I found that people is what I need. Not being able to connect with people in person for extended periods of time, especially close friends and family, was arguably one of the most difficult aspects of lockdown for me. So we got creative and we found ways to connect virtually. But we all know that's not the same. We crave face-to-face connection. And as much fun as it was to learn how to make a whiskey sour over Zoom, nothing replaces sitting down and just talking with a good friend. This hyper digital world of COVID has helped some of my relationships, believe it or not. I met a senator from my own home chapter at a Zoom social that I'd never met before because he lives on the west side of the state. I got to attend super fun trivia nights and virtual happy hours and murder mystery nights. And I got to play Jackbox and Uno with JCs from all over the state and the country, people I almost never get to see in person. I got to know many of those people better than I had before lockdown, and I'm really grateful to have had that opportunity to connect in new ways with them. But beyond the world of Zoom, being in your own home for days and weeks and months on end, it provided a space for our family to get creative. Without the hustle and bustle of music lessons and robotics and Cub Scouts and a ton of homework, we figured out new ways to spend time together. I learned that my one son, who thrives at school, had the most difficult time with virtual school. He missed his friends, and he cried on a regular basis because of it. He is one of us who craves face-to-face connections and thrives on that. My other son struggles with school and with making friends, and virtual school for him worked really well. He was able to work at his own pace and complete his assignments more efficiently than he does at school. This taught me that the people you might think are struggling the most without face-to-face human connection might surprise you. But I also got to know my children in a much deeper way. I could see their fears and their challenges and their joys and their silliness in a completely new way, spending week after week at home with them and Dan. We had more board game nights and more movie nights. We adopted a dog and worked together as a team to make her a part of our family. My oldest had the time to finally master riding a two-wheeler after years and years of being terrified of it. Our family completed long overdue home improvement projects, and we actually had a lot of fun doing them. I am insanely grateful that I have amazing humans that live in my home with me, even though they drive me crazy sometimes. I honestly can't imagine living alone during lockdown. On the flip side, I have seen firsthand how this hyper virtual setting allows people to show some of their least pleasant personality traits. It's allowed people more than ever before to hide behind a screen and be unkind to those they were once close to. Without face-to-face interaction, maybe they felt like they can put others down and create division without repercussions. I'm not even really talking about politics because that's a whole other issue. As people's world have closed in on them, they seem to forget that those on the other side of the screen are real people with real feelings. I think one solution for this is to think twice about what you say online or in a text to someone and ask yourself how you would feel being on the receiving end of it. And really, just like I tell my students, use the acronym THINK. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? And is it kind? And sometimes I like to think of the I as, is it important or does it improve the situation? If it doesn't pass the think test, it's probably best left unsaid. And if you're on the receiving end of an unkind, unpleasant, and unproductive online conversation, I think the best thing is to not engage, but to ignore it and move on. Trust me when I say I know how difficult that can be, but in my opinion, having the last word is not as important as your own mental health and being able to live without that toxicity in your life. So in a way, the digital world has hurt some of my relationships, but for the most part, they were relationships that I realized weren't really benefiting my life. What I've learned in the last 7 months, as our digital lives have taken center stage, is this. Check in on your friends as often as you can. Be patient with yourself. Have empathy for others. And figure out your priorities for what and who you need in your life to survive and to thrive. Everyone has a different comfort level right now with seeing others in person. Remember to respect their choices and support them in those decisions, even if it doesn't make sense to you. Continue to be smart and safe so that we can all get back together again even sooner. Take care, y'all.